a young boy experienced a series of terrifying, unexplained events in his quiet Maryland home. In 1949, a young boy, referred to as Robbie Mannheim to protect his identity, lived a quiet life in Cottage City, Maryland. Robbie was an only child, and his family was a middle-class Lutheran household. One of the most important people in Robbie's life was his Aunt Harriet, who was a spiritualist. She introduced him to the Ouija board, which they would use to playfully try to communicate with spirits. When Aunt Harriet passed away, everything seemed to change. Shortly after her death, strange things began happening around Robbie. His family reported eerie sounds, scratching noises coming from the walls. At first, they thought it might be mice or some other ordinary explanation, but soon objects in their home started moving by themselves. Chairs would slide across the floor, and dishes flew off tables. As the weeks went on, it wasn't just objects that were behaving strangely. Robbie himself began to change. The once quiet and shy boy became withdrawn, moody, and prone to violent outbursts. He spoke in voices that seemed not his own, deep and guttural, and sometimes he cursed in languages he had never learned. His strength seemed unnatural for a boy his age. At times, several adults couldn't restrain him during his fits. Even more troubling, Robbie appeared to have a strange aversion to anything religious. Crucifixes would fly off walls, and prayers would send him into fits of rage. The family was terrified and desperate. They sought the help of doctors and psychiatrists, but no one could provide an explanation for what was happening to Robbie. Eventually, they turned to their Lutheran pastor, who, after witnessing Robbie's disturbing behavior, feared that the boy might be possessed by a demon. With no other options, he suggested they seek the help of the Catholic Church. The family was referred to Jesuit priests in St. Louis, Missouri, where they had relatives. Father William Bodern, a seasoned priest, was tasked with leading the exorcism. He was assisted by Father Walter Halloran and other clergymen. The exorcism sessions began in March of 1949, at both the family's relatives' home and later at a Catholic hospital run by the Alexian brothers. During these sessions, Robbie's behavior grew increasingly violent. He would lash out physically, spitting and cursing at the priests. Objects in the room would move without explanation, and at times, strange marks appeared on Robbie's body, including the word hell scratched into his skin. When the priests invoked the name of Christ or used religious symbols, Robbie's reactions were intense. He would scream, convulse, or enter a trance-like state. The exorcism continued for several weeks, with no immediate signs of improvement. The priests documented everything, trying to make sense of the bizarre events happening in front of them. Father Bodern, in particular, was determined to see the ritual through. Despite the growing danger Robbie's unpredictable behavior posed to everyone in the room, as Easter approached, the intensity of the exorcisms reached a peak. Robbie was becoming more aggressive, but Father Bodern remained firm in his belief that they were nearing the end. During the final exorcism session on Easter Monday, something extraordinary happened. Robbie suddenly became calm. He later claimed to have seen a vision of Saint Michael the Archangel, who appeared in front of him and fought off the demonic force inside him. From that moment on, Robbie's violent outbursts stopped. The strange noises, the unexplained movements of objects, the terrifying behaviors, all ceased. The boy who had been trapped in this dark battle seemed to be freed. After the exorcism, Robbie returned to a normal life. There were no more strange occurrences, no more frightening episodes. The Catholic Church kept the details of the exorcism confidential, and Robbie's real identity was protected. He grew up, lived a quiet life, and those terrifying months in 1949 were left behind. Father Bodern and Father Halloran both went on to confirm that they had witnessed many unexplainable events during the exorcism, though they never revealed Robbie's real name. The case, thoroughly documented by the church, remained shrouded in mystery. Years later, the story would inspire William Peter Blatty to write, "The Exorcist," and the tale of Robbie Mannheim became one of the most infamous cases of possession in modern history.